Hey guys, welcome to my video. So last month I went flat tracking. So last month I went flat tracking and I took the Banshee out on it on the flat track. I also took my 450 on it. It's not a flat track area. There's not a lot of flat or any flat tracking whatsoever in this area. So the motocross club that we were at has a flat track there, and because we rented the entire track to do motocross, because quad motocross isn't really a thing here either, they let us use the flat track as well. So I decided, hey, let's take the Banshee out there. And it's my 2003 Banshee. So it's this bad boy here. I picked it up for 900 bucks 2 years ago now. And at that time I had rebuilt the whole motor, top and bottom, gone through everything. I also put these Elka shocks on here. It came with these +2 arms. I don't know what brand they are, but I locked it up during the track, as you saw in my video at the beginning of this video, or end, depends where I put it, I don't know. But it's now a problem that I gotta sort out, and I hope, especially because this motor only has not even 2 hours, 1 hour, not even a full tank of gas. It's a piss off because I'm sure it leaned out. There's this filter thing here, maybe it seized it clogged up and fuel wasn't getting there, because you can hear it not being running perfectly crisp, and I just kind of let it go. We were at higher elevations, but that should have made it run richer and not rich enough to pop. Like, it wasn't that high of a, we're not talking 10, 15,000 feet, we're talking 3,000 feet, right? Like not a big difference in jetting. So I'm going to take it apart now and kind of get at her. Follow along. I'll report it as I come through with this. Follow along and I will report as more information comes available. First step, obviously, is going to be take the plastic off. Once the plastic's off, we're going to drain the coolant. Once the coolant is out, I'm going to take the pipes off, and then I'm going to take the head off and peek in there, make sure there's not a hole in the piston, and just kind of see if I can see down the bore. I get the feeling that it's going to be rings seized up to the cylinder walls. I'm going to see if I can just hone out of this. Like, honestly, I've only ever been successful doing that once. It's probably going to be a new top end. But I am cheap, and nothing ventured, nothing gained. So let's try, open her up, and see where it goes. So it looks like we had a catastrophic failure. So this is the piston, or what's left of it anyway. I've never had anything like this happen before, but it was a matter of time. This thing has maybe 2 hours on it. You can see the other piston is clean, super nice. Very low hours. It just came apart. Maybe the cylinder wall clearances weren't right. Maybe it just wasn't honed right. Maybe it was a defective piston, or maybe it leaned out. I don't know, but we're definitely in for some trouble here. This is the jug. I don't know if you can see, but there is a huge scratch. There, yeah. Huge scratch in there. I don't know if I should buy the pistons and see if it'll clean up or not, but That's at least a 1/2 millimeter, at least, if not more. Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah, so it's quite the conundrum now. So I'm gonna clean it up, take it apart. Take the bottom end apart now and clean it all out, get all the stuff out of there, and prepare for the next step, which is order parts or look through my bin of other Banshee parts and see if I have another jug or pistons laying around that I can throw on here. I did take those 87 piston jugs off and pistons from the Dooner build, so I'll look for those. Maybe that will come in play here to help me save some money. But yeah, keep watching. We'll keep working. All right, guys, so welcome back to my video. I'm recording again. It has been a little bit of time. In that time, I got the motor back in, so I rebuilt the rod that was busted on the crankshaft. I actually put the top end in that came out of the 87 J-arm. It's just, you know what, cost effective. Economy's not the best right now, and they were perfectly good cylinders that were ported. So, and then I had to use the cool head because the studs were exceptionally long on those. But basically got the motor all back together, new gaskets, seals, and everything in there. And I found out there was an air leak. So the intake boots were leaking from the crossover port. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. When I was doing the leak down test, these crossover boots, they were leaking right here on both of them. I could not hold pressure, so I picked up some billet intakes from Chariot. I ran them without the crossover, and this is how I figured out what was actually wrong with the machine. So when you have a crossover, the crossover kind of balances out the carbs on the very low end. So when I put the bag together, when I first bought this machine, it had a right side piston fail, no compression. That was the symptom. So I thought, okay, top end blew has swallowed something. That's the problem. I fixed it in 2 hours. The cylinder lets go, 2 riding hours. The cylinder lets go again, and I think, oh crap, it's the rod. So then I changed it, put a brand new hot rods crank in it. I put new pistons in, boarded again, got it done. This time, same thing, literally 2 hours, flat tracking going around, but this time it was a lot more carnage. This is what was left of the piston, and I realized something's wrong. So then once I got everything right, I put the intakes in, back to the point, I put the intakes in without the crossover now because I can't get the carbs to fit with the airbox, and I want to run an airbox on this thing because it will go into muddy situations with water. I run them without the crossover. Now the engine is hypersensitive to individual carbs not being synced. Well, guess what? I couldn't get the bike started, and I realized the carbs aren't even close to being synced. Look at that. Before the right slide even moves, this one is up to like a quarter throttle. And then it moves. And then you get to this level, if you're running this throttle, look at the difference. So the right side cylinder is getting way less fuel. And that's basically trying to run 2 engines. So I'm basically trying to run 2 separate engines on 2 separate fuel air ratios, but the crankshaft is 1. That's why it's destroying the one side piston constantly. And the rod on that side, because that engine is not getting the fuel or the air that the other one is. So we need to sync these. So now I took in the airbox off, the rear fender off. I'm bringing out my Banshee sync tool, which I use one of these. But first I'm going to eyeball it. Then I'm going to sync them, make sure they're good, and then we're going to run it. So stay tuned. Hey guys, so done the Banshee. As you just saw, it runs, everything's good. It took longer than I thought because it ended up being a bottom and top end rebuild. I put a new rod in it. The crank was brand new. We had it tried, trued this time, checked before I put the crank back in. I did reuse the 87 J-arm jugs on here. They are ported, so I'll find out how the power works on that. I did have a massive air leak coming from the boots. I changed those to the billet clamps. I couldn't run the crossover because I wanted to run an air box. I tried to put the crossover in, it would not fit. This is the best. It does change the angle a little bit, so it messes up the bottom of the boot, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that part really well. Another issue that I had was these bushing was out. I could not get the bolt out here. I had to drill this and then pull it out and put another bolt in. Luckily I had one sitting here because the bushing and the bolt were seized solid. I put the press over top, could not get it out. I'm gonna say this one's done. I will test it out, kind of double check on the jetting in there, but it starts really, really easy. It idles nice, and I think this one's done. Hopefully this is the last rebuild I have to do on it. Thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe. We'll be fixing more stuff. I just cracked open another one, so have a good one.